Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video, we're going to be making a priority guide for the Season 3 Chains of Eternity Season Store, including all of the heroes which eventually are going to be available from here. I'm going to put them into different tiers where the S plus tier are the most important must-have heroes, and we're also going to be talking about should you upgrade them to Supreme Plus, should you upgrade them to Paragon, or should you not even really be upgrading them at all. That is what we're going to be talking about in this video, so I have like icons for all of that, so to make it a little bit easier, because there are certain heroes which are Paragon priorities in the season store, and there are certain heroes which are overall the more important hero to upgrade first, but you don't need to get it to Paragon, and so like I needed something to differentiate that. Okay, so we have the 15 different heroes which eventually are going to make their way into this season store. Currently, we do not have all of them unlocked, but eventually they are going to be coming out. Okay, so we're going to begin with Elsa. So Elsa, as of right now, is her only major use that comes to mind is in the Orison Dream Realm boss. As an interrupter, she has a decent amount of use. As a damage dealer in Crystal Beetle, she is in some of the backup team options, not the overall top team. However, that is a very niche use in my opinion. In PvP, she is fine, but I don't think she is anything like game breaking. Like for example, that can carry your team on her back, and so I don't even recommend like necessarily like hard focusing her for PvP first. So overall, she is a solid hero because she does have that niche role in Dream Realm, and I am gonna put her in the A category. And I'm going to give her the S plus tier, or basically S plus tag, meaning that you should take her to Supreme Plus. You do not need to Paragon upgrade her. And yeah, that is my opinion on Elsa. A tier hero. Overall solid, but definitely not the top priority, and you would want to then build the other ones ahead of her. Okay, now we have Bonnie. Bonnie is a really interesting one. She has Dream Realm use. She was used in pre-Endless in a fair amount of Dream Realm bosses, and when we make it to Endless, it doesn't look like she's going to be in any of the top performing teams, but maybe the backup team options, she could be a part of that. And then not to mention in PvP, she is very dominant. Her debuff is very strong. For regular arena, she is one of the top tier heroes, and in Supreme Arena, if you have her ascended, then usually you will want to be running her on one of your defenses as well. So I do think she is a very solid hero. However, I'm not going to put her in the S plus tier because I don't know, it might just be me, but I have a bias towards heroes which do well in Dream Realm, and I do think for the majority of players, those are the heroes you need to be focusing first on your account. You need to get your Dream Realm heroes sorted, because that is going to allow you to rank higher in that mode and earn more temporal essences, which is one of the most important resources to continue strengthening up your account. I think PvP is like a second priority after you have your Dream Realm heroes met. So I'm going to put Bonnie in the S tier. She is definitely, in my opinion, more of a priority than Elsa. You can stop with her at Supreme Plus if you're using her purely for Dream Realm, but if you are going to use her in PvP, which she really does shine, I would say take her to Paragon. We have a purple or pinkish color for Paragon because Paragon 1 tier is pink, and it just stands out. It looks the nicest, so that's why I went for that. And it contrasts with the other S plus. Okay, now we have Soren. So Soren is a hero, honestly speaking, very luxury hero, not really necessary for anyone to build up on their account. He is purely basically a PvP hero. He's fine in PvP, but he's nothing game changing. And he was good in the previous season because of the malefaction tiles for like Supreme Arena, but generally speaking, he is not going to shine that much. And so I'm going to put Soren in the C tier. Maybe it's a little bit harsh, but honestly, I think he's a hero you can safely skip from the season store, and it's going to be no cost to you. He wasn't even the best option for any team of Ravage Rum in the previous season, and so like basically you're not going to miss not having him on your account. Is practically going to change nothing. So that's why I put him in the C tier. Okay, now we have Ludovic. Ludovic is an interesting one, and it is going to be tough to position him because in the previous season, he was used in 3 out of the 8 Endless Dream Realm boss teams, top performing teams. And just for that reason alone, but that was after we got the Mythic Magic Charms to power up his HP per second damage, and that was a 5 skill power Mythic Magic Charms. This season we're going to have 4 skill power, so he will probably not have the same effect. However, the fact that he was such a meta hero for Dream Realm Endless bosses makes me want to think about positioning him in the S plus tier. But at the same time, he is also like, there's a lot of good heroes from the season store, and I don't necessarily necessarily think I can actually put Ludovic in the S plus tier, because even if you don't have Ludovic, you can put together some good endless teams. And the other problem is Ludovic doesn't really come online until after you have Mythic Magic Charms, after you're in Endless Dream Realm, and that is going to be over 2 months into the new season, which is a long time to wait to actually see any use. And then even then, he's usually not the top option in many teams. So I'm going to put him in the S tier, but I'm going to put him ahead in priority of the Bonnie, because Ludovic is more important for your account, in my opinion, than Bonnie. Although we don't know. We have to wait and see. Honestly, Bonnie could maybe even be a better option in some Endless Dream Realm teams than Ludovic. And definitely for pre-Endless, Bonnie is far superior to Ludovic. So honestly speaking, Ludovic could potentially even be lower ranked than the Bonnie. But I will put him above the Bonnie for right now. I'm giving him kind of like... I'm expecting good things from him this season, but we're gonna have to wait and see about it. Now for Ludovic, it really comes down to the ability that you can invest into heroes. Honestly, he is some of the priority for Paragon upgrades, but it's totally fine to leave him at Supreme Plus as well. I think the damage dealers still are going to be more important Paragon upgrade priorities on your account. It is going to allow you to basically, it will overall strengthen your PvP teams more than Paragon upgrading your supports, although Paragon upgrading your supports is also pretty important now. And now we have Sinbad, and this is really difficult. I think I'm gonna make Sinbad our first S plus tier hero. He has been very dominant in pre-endless bosses, and from the Vietnam server testing so far, even in endless, he is used in 2 of the top teams, overall top heavy pay to win teams. And so for non-pay to win options, he could be used in even more than that. So I am gonna put Sinbad in the S plus tier, and I'm going to say just take him to Supreme Plus. You do not need to take him to Paragon. He is not very dominant in PvP, so it is honestly not really that great of an investment to Paragon upgrade him, and the stats that he would gain to help in Dream Realm hardly matter. Paragon upgrades only gives about 2.5% bonus attack each Paragon Ascension tier, and that doesn't really change much, and so you do not need to Paragon him. It is totally fine for him at Supreme Plus. Okay, now we have Lenya. Lenya is the hero which is relatively important. She was a part of a couple of the top pre-Endless Dream Realm boss teams. The problem is when we make it to Endless, Lenya is going to see no Dream Realm use. Like, it's very difficult for Lenya to be used. She's going to be so pretty soon phased out. So only a pre-Endless Dream Realm damage dealer who's only meta in like 1 or 2 bosses, that is a problem, right? That doesn't scream like, oh, this is a hero that you really need to invest into, that is a huge priority for your account. Guys, I think I am going to put Lenya in the A tier. I will put her ahead of the Elsa. I think she's definitely more of a priority to build on your account compared to Elsa, but I do not think she is quite in the S tier. It's really close. Between A tier and S tier is really where she belongs. And now as for the level of ascension, Supreme Plus is all you need for Dream Realm applications. If you want to use her in PvP, Paragon is also a potential option. However, I don't know, Lenya is pretty good in PvP, but I don't necessarily think she is going to, again, carry your team on your back. You're going to need to have other damage dealers and sources on the team, and so personally, I'm going to be conservative and I'm going to give her the S plus. Supreme Plus is where you want to take her to. Paragon is nice, but I do consider it kind of like a luxury. And by the way, the reason we didn't give Soren anything is because I just said you do not need to even take him up to Supreme Plus. Oh, but Elsa is good, or sorry, Lenya is also good for Ravage Realm, and same with Elsa, good for Ravage Realm. And so that is another reason building them is going to be important for your account. Okay guys, now we have Almas. Almas is incredibly important for AFK stages. Also, he's been pretty dominant in PvP Supreme Arena if you have Iron also built up. And so I'm going to put Almas in the S plus tier, even though he's not a Dream Realm damage dealer. And I really heavily favor them. I think for helping you to push AFK stages to earn more AFK rewards, it is a must-have hero on your account, and you do not need to Paragon upgrade the Almas. He's totally fine at Supreme Plus, and you can even, like, Mythic Plus is a big breakpoint where he begins to come online for your Iron Almas comp, but eventually Supreme Plus is his maximum potential. That is going to give him even more lockdown and crowd control. And so I do think upgrading Almas to Supreme Plus is eventually going to be important. Okay, next up we have Lily May. So Lily May is a hero, which she used to be really dominant in Dream Realm, but now she is just not the greatest option for Dream Realm anymore. And they're just other damage dealers which have taken her place. Lily May is still very dominant in PvP, and she can be a backup option in Dream Realm if you don't have any of the top performing Dream Realm damage dealers, for example. But she is definitely no longer, in my opinion, an S plus tier priority for your account. I am going to put her in the S tier. And I am going to put her, I will put her before even the Ludovic. I'll put her right at the front of the S tier. And she is an upgrade priority for Paragon. Lily May is still very dominant in PvP because she can interrupt an enemy like Iron instant ultimate, or just interrupt any enemy ultimate, which is going to be a lot of value for your team. She deals high damage. She has survivability. Basically, in Supreme Arena, you would want to run Lily May on every single one of your 3 teams if that were possible, meaning she is a dominant PvP hero. So Lily May is still really important. She is an upgrade priority to Paragon. Another thing just to keep in mind, guys, is that Paragon upgrades should only come after your key heroes are all taken to Supreme Plus. So you're seeing here Lenya, Elsa, they're in the A tier. It doesn't mean you take Lily May and Bonnie to Paragon 4 before you Supreme Plus Lenya and Elsa. What this means is you get all of these key heroes like A tier and above, maybe even B tier, you get them upgraded to Supreme Plus, and then you begin Paragon upgrading the P heroes here like Lily May and Bonnie. Basically, but this is going to be Lily May's placement. Okay, Nara. Nara is a hero. She's going to go in the C tier, and you do not need to upgrade her to Supreme Plus. All you need Nara for is for some AFK stages where you have Smokey, Blue Aura to kill the entire enemy team, and Nara just needs to reposition an enemy, and so Nara can work at 1 copy for these teams. You do not need to Supreme Plus her, and so overall she is a C tier hero. You would like to get 1 copy of her, that can be valuable, but honestly I would just keep her on the wish list until you get that 1 copy rather than even buying her from the season store. And anyway, now because we don't have multi-stages and AFK stages, you can just use Iron Alma's team in every one of your stages. You do not need to use the Nara Smokey team, apart from a couple of stages where it will be really important, but yeah. Okay, Sonya. Sonya is a must-have hero. She is much better pre-Endless compared to Endless, and so like if you've been watching like the top team formations, you're going to be seeing a lot of Sonya for pre-Endless, but that is kind of a distorted image of her value because when we make it to Endless, Sonya is maybe used in 2 of the top teams, not nearly as dominant as pre-Endless. However, that being said, she is still a must-have essential hero on your account, and I am going to put her even before the Sinbad. And in fact, I need to rearrange the Sinbad. Sinbad should be after the Almas, but Sonya should be before the Almas. And all you need on Sonya is Supreme Plus for a maximum potential for Dream Realm. Sonya is not a top tier PvP hero, so she's not a major Paragon upgrade priority. So this is basically how you want to upgrade the heroes for like maximizing your potential in Dream Realm. Sonya is very important. Same with Sinbad. He has become very dominant this season, and honestly, more meta than even Lily May and the other heroes we have the tier below him for Dream Realm specifically. So he is a pretty big priority to that Supreme Plus. Okay, now we have Hodgkin. Hodgkin, again, I'm going to put him in the C tier. Hodgkin is not needed for anything. In PvP is lackluster, and in Ravage Realm, he was a good option. However, you could like replace him for something else and not sacrifice too much on your damage. And so building a hero purely for Ravage Realm, also because this season we have Velka, and Velka is going to be most likely way better than Hodgkin for Ravage Realm. So like building a hero that is only fine for Ravage Realm, I don't recommend it. If it was like a top tier damager like Seth for Ravage Realm, yeah, that is a different story. But Hodgkin is a complete skippable hero. You do not need to build him. So I'm not even going to give him an S plus or a P. Okay, now we have Hugin. So Hugin is a hero which is seeing a decent amount of use in this season. However, part of it is because of his charm bonus, which is incredibly strong, converting a 30% of, or even eventually higher, I think, of the ally who is 1 tile behind him into true damage. That is a huge, powerful effect that is really good, and it will be even better for Endless. And for the Thalasso Dream Realm boss you have to use long-range heroes like Odie, and then Odie is going to do so well with Hugin. So Hugin is a pretty good overall hero. However, he's not, honestly, I don't know. It's really weird with Hugin because a lot of it is his charm bonus, honestly, in my opinion, but he also has incredible synergy with Odie. So I'm gonna have to put Hugin in the A tier, and honestly speaking, I think I have to put him even before the Elsa. I don't think he's better than the Lenya. I would still prioritize the Lenya before Hugin, but Hugin is a pretty decent priority. Elsa is not seeing as much use in Dream Realm as compared to Hugin is going to see, and so Hugin to S+, you do not need to Paragon upgrade Hugin. He's not top tier for PvP, so it's basically just get him to Supreme Plus for your Dream Realm, and you're going to be doing Pretty well. Okay, now we have Tassi. So this is really difficult. It is difficult for me to find a good appropriate placement for Tassi. Now, Tassi is a PvP hero. She has some AFK stage use, but you do not need her for AFK stages like Bonnie, Carolina, Arden as damages, and Iron Almas comp are totally fine. Tassi, yeah, in certain stages is going to be a great option, but that is not her major role. It is PvP. But the thing about Tassi is she can put your team on her back and solo the enemy team, getting you the win in PvP, and for that reason, I do consider her a pretty high value hero to invest into, and eventually, yeah, Paragon upgrading Tassi is going to be important. The only question I have, and I'm kind of unsure, should I position Tassi in the A tier? Should I position her in the S tier? It's a difficult decision, and honestly speaking, because she has no Dream Realm use, and she is a good PvP hero, but not necessarily, like, I mean, you can run a team not using Tassi, I'm gonna put her after the Lenya. I think this is the most suitable position for her, and give her the Paragon badge, because, of course, you want to Paragon upgrade Tassi if you're building her for PvP, and yeah, so I think Tassi does belong around in this position. Yeah, that is my overall recommendation for right now. Okay, let's move on to two heroes left. Mikola. Mikola is the top tier hero. Mikola is one of the top tier heroes in the game because she is so dominant in Dream Realm. Even now that we have so many Celestial Hypogean revolving teams, we have the twins who we thought were going to power creep Mikola because they just seem like a better version of Mikola. Mikola was still using 6 out of 8 of the top Vietnam server Endless Dream Realm boss teams, and pre-Endless she's also used a lot. Mikola is such a powerhouse. I honestly can't believe, and I would have never said that when we first got the reveal of Mikola that she was going to be this dominant and this dominant for so long. Like, Mikola is honestly is the queen of Dream Realm. Even way higher value than Lily May, and I would just say Supreme Plus, because Supreme Plus honestly is all that you need on Mikola. This is going to be perfectly unlocking her full potential for Dream Realm. It gives her the permanent duration of her Courage Sphere after casting it one time, which can be very useful in bosses like Snow Stomper that interrupt you and silence you. So Mikola is the overall top priority from the Dream Realm store because of the fact that she is the best support for Dream Realm, for pre-Endless and post-Endless. So she is one of the highest, most important heroes to be upgrading onto your account. And if you Paragon upgrades, it's if you use her in PvP, you can Paragon upgrade her. Mikola isn't terrible in PvP. Honestly, I am kind of a fan of her, but she is not like a super dominant one. And like for right now, the Paragon badges we've only given to the 3 most dominant PvP heroes, and so I'm happy with that. And now finally, guys, we're gonna have Luca. Luca is a totally skippable hero. He is used for some AFK stages, but that is not a reason for you to be investing into him, in my opinion, unless you are a higher spender, and then of course even the CT heroes can be leveled up. But basically, the CT heroes are completely skippable. You never need to upgrade them if you don't want to. So overall, I am very happy with this list. Another thing to keep in mind is that, for example, the Lightbearers, Hugin and Sinbad, these are the 2 best Lightbearer heroes in the game. So for example, you might be thinking, oh, well, Sinbad is so high up, Hugin is also here, I should be buying them. You can also just keep them on your wish list and gradually get them, because there's no real other key priority to have on your wish list. Same with Bonnie. Like, Bonnie is the best Graveborn hero in the game. Velka would probably be the second best when she comes onto the wish list, but Callan is a skippable hero as of right now. So Bonnie and Velka can be on your Graveborn A-level wish list, and you can get her from that way. But like, for example, Lenya, Almas, like Almas is a hero you should have on wish list, but Lenya, you have a lot of good wild heroes. Arden, Damien, Almas, Lenya. And so like Lenya is a hero which is more difficult to actually fit into your wish list, and so like maybe investing into in the season store is a good idea. But as you can see here, guys, there are very few Paragon priorities. Of course, like, you know, Ludovic Paragon, Mikola Paragon, Lenya Paragon, these can also be done. However, broadly speaking, for most players, it's just these 3 heroes, in my opinion: Lily May, Bonnie, Tassi, the key PvP heroes, the PvP powerhouses. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out, and I don't know, I was thinking of a way to basically make this season store priority guide in a way that is more easy to visually see it, because when I usually make them, I just talk about it looking at the page, and like it's sometimes difficult to break down my thoughts and also like have an infographic. But here you have an infographic. I'm pretty pleased with it. You guys can feel free to share your own thoughts about this and opinions in the comment section. I look forward to reading those, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next video. If you want to chat with me more, feel free to join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video. I look forward to seeing you guys there. And if you are not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're on our road to 20,000 subscribers. Let's see if we can hit it within 2 to 3 months from now. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.